a lot of times boundaries are painful and they hurt, and we second guess.
You do have to consider why the boundary is needed. You know, and there, you know, keep in mind, there are other things leading up to you feeling like you have to draw that boundary.
Yeah.
There are other conversations that you can lead off with without you feeling that you have to, for example, completely revoke someone's access to your calendar, or completely cut them off, or say, you know, I'm only going to see you on Christmas for a couple of hours or in public places.
So there's all kind of different.
Yeah, there's a lead up, right? And if you respect me and I respect you, then you will receive the message I'm trying to communicate and make adjustments. And then that's really all, right? Like, that's a boundary, but it's on a smaller scale versus like, you are no longer have access to my calendar, or no, you just cannot call me.
So there's a hierarchy. And I had this conversation I had this conversation with a guy friend of mine, related to dating. And he was talking about, he's in the middle of a divorce. So, you know, I'm not going to spill all his beans, but we were talking about like kind of the continuum. Like, and he's like, you just have to be upfront. Cause I kept saying, you know, I was trying to challenge him a little bit on, you know, setting boundaries with people and things of that nature. Cause you teach people. And what I kept telling him is, the more you're tolerating this, and we've got to kind of say, but there's not a, you're in, you're out. There's a whole spectrum of, you know, boundaries that you can establish with people, whether it's your spouse, your ex-spouse, a friend, a parent.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's usually how it happens. There's typically we've had some conversations, you're not listening. Right. And then there's the straw that broke the camel's back, where you're like, clearly this isn't working. And then there's even the hierarchy again of the boundaries that you set, from, you know, revoking access to something to, I'm just completely, you have lost the right to be in my life.
Well, and
that's extreme. But
that it is extreme, but the way you just said it, you've lost the right to be, because I think it is a right and it's your right. But some people just kind of, because I've had to sever some relationships throughout my life that just weren't healthy, I guess we could say. And, you know, and I've had some that come and go. Like, they come back and I sever, and then I send them on their way, and damn it if they don't come back again. And I'm not smart enough to figure that out the first time. So, but it is all about setting boundaries. Yeah. And sometimes if you're not strong enough to do that on your own, which I know I've had instances in my long life where I have not been, where that's when you need girlfriends, or in my case, lots of therapy, just to be able to kind of help see it. Because it's hard to set a boundary when you're in the middle of it. Like when you see the good in people and you really want it to work.
And back to having that support system, sometimes another person has to come in and go, you've tried all you can do.
Yes.
And there's nothing left to try.
I think most times it takes that. I know maybe it's just me because I'm stubborn, but I feel like for a lot of us, we do need that extra person, that outside person that just says, all right, I call it holding the mirror up, that holds the mirror up and goes, let's evaluate this.
Yeah.
And I know I've done that with my kids sometimes. You know, boundaries with kids mean rules. And, you know, I've done that with especially my youngest, where I'll say something and, you know, she's like, well, I shouldn't be in trouble for that. I'm like, okay, well, if you were the parent, so I'm holding up the mirror. If you were the parent, what would you do?
Yeah.
And then they of course are like, I'd let you eat cotton candy for dinner and go to Disney World every day. No, what they do is holding the mirror up, and we can't always objectively do that with ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Somebody else has to see it.
Who do you think the hardest, not who, but like what types of relationships are the hardest to set boundaries?
I definitely think it is family. And part of that is because your emotions are involved, right? Like there's a separation there between you and your boss or a direct report, anything like that. And you just approach the situation differently, but family tends to take things personally, right? Like it goes a little bit deeper, you get more involved. It's also interesting because you feel like it's in fact, I feel like it was, and I know Isaac will chime in, I feel like Brandon Smith said this, where it's actually easier to have like the will and testament conversation than it is about the fact of, we have kids now, and so we're going to have Thanksgiving at our house, but we'll come over later.
Yeah.
Because then they're all offended about, why are you not coming over to our house anymore? It's Thanksgiving. And you're like, because we are going to create our own traditions, but I still love you.
It's the family one's tough. Like like my ex-husband, we lived in different states, so we were at his family for Thanksgiving and my family for Christmas. That's just kind of how we did it based on. But even at his family's Thanksgiving, I was the only one from out of state, so all the other siblings all had spouses, and it got to be like that. Like everybody was eating 18 meals during the day, and then forbid you have blended families or divorces and things like that. You've got 18 Thanksgivings. So what his family did is his mom, just after, I guess we'd been married probably a couple years, his mom's like, we're going to do Thanksgiving on Friday. So everybody else can go to their respective families on Thursday and do family. And then we did his family's Thanksgiving on Friday. They still do it like that, which is fantastic. Yeah. Because it was a compromise, but it made it so much easier. So instead of trying to kind of fight to be right, like let's fight for who gets the prime turkey position, his mom was kind of like, let's just do it Friday.
Yeah. Which is, kudos to her.
Yeah, it turned out to be cool.
It is hard as a child of divorced parents, the holidays just become that much more complex when that's you, right? You especially when you get older and realizing like one parent is without their child on a particular holiday. And so that can be tough. And it makes it better if you can go out and forge your own traditions.